So, maybe most of you can agree with me when I say that the typical household pet is a cat, a dog, maybe a fish, maybe a reptile, and maybe that list varies from species to species depending where you're from. But I can definitely say that for myself, and for the last 12 years, I've had a chinchilla. And so the purpose of my speech to you today is to introduce you to this curious creature's life. So this is a chinchilla, and more specifically, my chinchilla. Her name is Mishka. She's 3 years old, and she roughly weighs around a pound. And most chinchillas, most female chinchillas, she's a girl, weigh between 0.9 pounds and 1.3 pounds. So that's really light. That's a really light animal, and that's studied according to Chinchilla Care Organization. And before I go on, I want to throw out that I've had 3 chinchillas throughout my life, the oldest being 9 years old, and all 3 having very distinct personalities. Now, I'll run through the basics of characteristics, and then I'll run through the importance of why you should know about them. So, chinchillas, they come from the Andes Mountains, South America, and their ability to live in these high altitudes and cold climates is all due to their bodies. Their fur is extremely dense, extremely soft, but apart from being soft, dense and fine is what makes up their survival. They also, a study done by Lorraine Cerveau at Purdue University, she figured out that chinchillas actually have blood that can carry more oxygen than other rodents, which helps them adapt to that climate. And not to bore you with the scientific facts and the dietary habits, I'll get more into the characteristics. So they usually live to what seems to be forever. Unfortunately, I haven't yet gotten a chinchilla to live as long as 10 to 20 years. But mine, my very first one, passed away at 9, and I had one that passed away at 3, and this Mishka, she's 3, so I'm a little weirdy right now. But an interesting fact is that chinchillas, they have whiskers that they use to see. Their eyes are pretty underdeveloped, so they don't really rely on them to see. Their whiskers can grow up to half their body. They're about this big, chinchillas, not including the tail. They're not big, they're a pound, they're really small and fragile. And their whiskers are what they use to feel and see and smell around them. And another interesting fact, I think, is that they're nocturnal, which kind of tells you to know that never put them by your bedside because you will be up all night, because they're pretty rowdy animals. I mentioned earlier that they have the softest, densest, and finest fur, but it's of all animals. If you close your eyes, there's actually a study done by Cerveau from Purdue University that if you held a chinchilla and you closed your eyes, or not held a chinchilla, but if you felt the fur of a chinchilla and closed your eyes, your brain wouldn't be able to register the contact between that fur and your hand because it's so fine. And the reason that is that for every human follicle, we all have 1 to 3 hairs in our follicles. For every follicle a chinchilla has, they have 50 to 150 follicles. And the higher that is, the more soft. And I have my opinion, I feel like Mishka is the softest thing in the world, so I think she probably has 1,000. But she is definitely in that range. Their tail, I mentioned that they can see the whiskers, so I'll move on. Teeth never stop growing. Never do. The only way they can trim them down is by chewing on their toys that you place in the cage, but to give you an idea, they can grow up to 12 inches of teeth a year. That's saying you have to let them chew on things. So another thing, they're natural acrobats, so they can jump up to 6 feet. That's because they have, in their climates in the Andes Mountains, it's trees, it's rocks. So if I had my chinchilla here today, which I feel like could have been pretty cool, she could potentially jump from here to Claire. But just like if there were a treat there, I'm sure. So Dust Bass, I actually really want to show you this video because it's the cutest thing in the world, in my opinion. I don't really know It's like 10 seconds long. If it loads, you know. I think it's because of this. Okay. But while that loads, hopefully it loads, I can continue talking about the dust baths. They cannot touch water. Hopefully it loads. It's fine. They can't touch water. Most dogs, cats, you know, you give them a bath and they hate it. Chinchillas, you actually cannot give them a water bath. It is, for example, for my chinchilla Michka, she got a droplet of water onto her nose one time and went bald for a whole 2 weeks. It's because they have such fine and dense fur that you cannot get water on them. It'll fall right out and she'll be bald. So that's kind of sad and kind of looks really weird, and this doesn't look like it's working. So I'm just not going to do that. As you can see, she has super long ears. Super cute, in my opinion. And this is her eating. Let's see if it works. This is an actual video as well. She's just eating her favorite snack, so there's nothing to it. So why you should care? So this is going on to a little bit more, but 100 or more chinchillas are needed to make a chinchilla coat. A chinchilla, this is really sad, and I'm going to try not to get into more of the gruesome aspect because it can get a little sensitive, but a chinchilla is only a pound, and they're really small animals that just one of them can maybe make one sock for someone who has really small feet. So a coat, depending on how the size, can take up to 100 to 300 chinchillas. So, and the number of animals killed each year for fur is undetermined, but it's estimated that 40 to 60 million are in fur factories. So the ways chinchillas are killed include gruesome techniques. And I won't mention them because, like I said, they're a bit sensitive, and I know that I can provide you the information if you really want to look into it further, but we'll keep that aside for now. The chinchilla, I love this. It's like everywhere in my room because I think it's the cutest thing in the world. The chinchilla is honestly just as capable of loving as a dog or a cat may be. They're just as intelligent, they're just as skilled, they're just as much filled with a happy personality. They don't deserve a life of cruelty just like no animal does. And they don't deserve a life inside a cage, but mine's in a cage, but I respect. They are just as small, relying on your love and attention, just like a dog or a cat would be. So I can definitely say that from true experience, that now that you've gotten to know chinchillas, I hope that you can relate and love a companion the same way.
Any space trend?